Each one must give as he has decided in his heart, not reluctantly or under compulsion, for God loves a cheerful giver. 2 Corinthians 9, verse 7. God's desire is that we would be generous stewards of the resources he has entrusted to us individually and as a church family. In 2 Corinthians 8, the Macadonians are lifted up as an example for us to aspire to. So what can we learn from them? Verse 2 tells us that they gave out of their poverty. Sometimes we live under the illusion that once we have a little bit more, then we will be generous. The Macedonians didn't wait, and they serve as an encouragement to us not to wait until we can afford it, to be cheerful givers. Verse 3 tells us that they gave beyond their means. It's easy to be extremely calculated in our giving and to even talk ourselves out of giving because it doesn't fit our sensibilities, but sometimes the Spirit prompts us to meet a need even beyond what looks doable. Verse 4 describes how the Macedonians begged for the opportunity to be involved in meeting the financial needs of others. When was the last time you begged for the opportunity to give to a need? I know for me, it's been quite a while. Verse 5 helps us to see the source of generosity. First, they gave themselves to the Lord, and out of that relationship, they were able to give freely to others. We know that God is a giving God because He gave us His only begotten Son. And when you get connected to a God like that, it rubs off on you. Verse 7 refers to giving as an act of grace or a work of grace. It's impossible for us to be the kind of givers that God has designed us to be in our own efforts. But when He does a work of grace in our lives, there will be times where we live to the praise of His glory and reflect His nature in our generous giving. We're not going to always get it right, that's for sure. There's forgiveness at the foot of the cross when we struggle in this area, just like when we struggle in every other area of living for Christ. But we can also ask for God to continue to be at work in us so that individually and as a church family, we are growing as generous stewards of the gifts He has blessed us with. Press on in the Lord.